decided I'd do a little bit of a diamond paint with me video. I have now filled up my drill pen and I'm going to get going. I'm not going to be too ambitious. I'm just going to set aside about a 65 by 6 section today. I won't even guarantee you I'll get that much done. I have already done about 9 by 65, so it's not terribly much, but it's an okay start. This is my largest one I just got most recently. This is the 50 by 70, and this is the Belle. Can you see that? I don't want to move my frame. This is my Belle from Beauty and the Beast watercolor picture. It's a little larger than I normally drill, so I'm having to set this up in a little unusual spot for me. So I'm just going to grab a color and go for it. I have a little bit of variety here. Most of what I was working on the last day or so was mostly just black. So what I have noticed about this kit is that the drills are very uniform. They're not all wonky in different shapes and sizes. And so I've been really happy with that. I haven't gotten a whole lot of wonky ones. They've just been really good. And the adhesive on this canvas is so strong. Basically, you gotta make sure you get it down in the right spot, because it's hard to move it once you get it down. And normally people might think, oh no, she's complaining. I'm actually not complaining. I'm actually thrilled about that, because so many times I have had kits like this that the drills pop up or I lose one, and so I'm so glad I went ahead and saved the extra drills afterward. My mom just finished one of these pictures, well, not one of these pictures, but a diamond painting kit within the last few days, and just over the course of the time that she worked on one section and then switched areas, there was a whole bunch of drills that had fallen off. It was an obscure designer that she ordered this kit from. It's really cute, but she was a little surprised that they didn't hold on to the canvas better than they did. Got a few of these ones. Yeah, so she was rolling up her canvas to save space while she was working on it. And so she was rolling it outward and just lightly taking care of it that way. And she had me look at it after she was done. She said, just check and see if I missed anything. And literally there was about a dozen drills that had fallen off. So she was a little frustrated with that. So that's why I'm excited that these ones are so sticky, or that this adhesive is so sticky rather. Now I got that one a little off, so I'm gonna move it. Uh-oh, and a drill went flying. Am I surprised that a drill went flying? No, this is diamond painting after all. So I generally, right beside my diamond painting, I will keep one of the typical tweezers that they supply with each kit, but I also will keep a sharp one, because sometimes you need the blunt, rounded shape, and sometimes you really want a sharp edge, so I keep one of each handy. Also, the sharp actually makes it, wow, if I wasn't so confused here, the sharp makes it really easy to pull out the little bit of wax that's stuck inside of the tip of the pen. So I never really know what to talk about when doing one of these with me videos. Believe it or not, I've actually made a with me video before, a diamond paint with me video before, but I ended up having to scrap it because there was some kind of glitch in the when I saved it on the computer, it did something really funky. And it distorted it all over the place. So I wasn't going to post that because everything was all messed up. The music had gone wrong. It had been corrupted, and I couldn't post that. So I've done this before. I did a little bit of a progress video while I was working on my Audrey Hepburn kit. So I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite actors. How about that? I was looking for something to talk about. So I am very much a classic actor fan. I love the old classics. I don't watch many modern movies. I don't know. I don't like the cuss words. I don't like all the innuendo. I don't like all of the bedroom scenes. Let's say that. I don't know if I just bumped the camera or not. If I did, so sorry. But yeah, I go for a lot of the classic movies. Audrey Hepburn is definitely one of my favorite actresses. Grace Kelly. Sorry about that. Grace Kelly is another one. Doris Day. I like Doris Day movies. Now, Grace Kelly and Doris Day are definitely in two completely different categories. I get that. But I don't really care because I like them both. So, yeah, I like most Audrey Hepburn movies I have seen. Not every one of them. The irony is I'm not a huge fan of Breakfast at Tiffany's. But the picture I have in my usual videos, that picture in the background is a playoff of Breakfast at Tiffany's. Go figure. But I like Sabrina and Roman Holiday and Funny Face. Oh yes, which brings up the fact that I really like Fred Astaire as well. I'm not just a female actress fan, and I bumped the camera again. Oh, I knew this was in a precarious location. I'll watch anything with Fred Astaire, anything with Gene Kelly, I like Rita Hayworth in several things. Not everything, but several. Cary Grant, I believe, is my #1 favorite actor. And I like Jimmy Stewart, but I liked him better before he went into all the westerns. I'm not a huge western movie fan. Julie Andrews, I like some of the movies she's been in. Dick Van Dyke, I like some Dick Van Dyke. I think he's just a fun guy. At least he portrays a fun guy in the movies. What is that one? It's The Happiest Millionaire? Maybe that's not Dick Van Dyke. That's Fred MacMurray, isn't it? I like Fred MacMurray too. I would say some of my favorite all-time favorite classic movies is probably To Catch a Thief is up in there. An Affair to Remember. That has got to be in my top 5 favorite movies. An Affair to Remember. I love that movie. The funny part was, when I was younger, before I realized what it was, I assumed it was like a dirty, naughty type movie. Oh no, it's talking about an affair. And then when I got older, I realized it wasn't really that kind of an affair. And I gave it a fair shot, and I watched it again, and I loved it. Still do. I love the music in it. I think the acting is superb. I love the song. I think it's kind of fun. It's been remade a few times. Like, I think it's called Love Affair with Irene Dunne. Is it Maurice Chevalier? Or... no, can't be Maurice. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, Irene Dunne is the main actress in it. Which I like Irene Dunne as well. And another show I like watching is What's My Line, and you can watch a whole bunch of them on YouTube, actually. It's really interesting to see how the actual people behave when they're like guest starring on a show. Some of them will surprise you. You don't exactly expect them to be that way. I kind of got the impression that Irene Dunne was a bit of, what do you call that? Not extroverted, but a bit... So the word I've been thinking of is eccentric. I think she came across as a bit eccentric. Like, a little bit, you could call her slightly on the crazy side. Like, you didn't exactly expect that, or I didn't exactly expect that. But anyway, I still like her. I still think she's a good actress. And I like her pairing up with Cary Grant. Of course. I will watch any Cary Grant movie. I finally saw one the other day. I can't remember the name of it because it was that anticlimactic. It was wrong word. It was that anticlimactic. I finally saw a movie with Cary Grant in it the other day that I didn't enjoy, which was really a surprise. Because generally I like anything he is in. But was it something like... oh sheesh, I don't remember. I can't remember that name, and I'm not going to make an idiot of myself by calling out names of movies that it is not. But one of my favorite movies was Father Goose when I was younger. I don't know why. I watch it now and it's a bit on the silly side. I haven't seen it in quite a while. I like An American in Paris, which is of course another Gene Kelly movie. Tony Curtis was another one that was kind of fun. My mom and I kind of bonded when I was younger over Tony Curtis movies, because she told me she always liked him. Annette Funicello, I always thought she was a fun person to watch. She always had a bubbliness to herself, to her voice, and I always liked her. I always felt bad for what happened to her, though. It's not fair. A lot of things in life aren't fair. So anyway, I have been looking for more pictures like my Audrey Hepburn picture that I just did in diamond painting. I've been looking for more of those with other actors in them. And I found one that I want. And it's got Matt Smith from Doctor Who in it. It's a fun one. I even showed it to my mom thinking she would in no way, you know, encourage that. And she even liked it. She said, "Oh, you need to get that one." So I need to get a Matt Smith one apparently. It has a similar look to the Audrey Hepburn one, which is great. I really like how it turned out. I think it's really cool looking. So I'm going to look into that pretty soon. But I'm trying to wait a reasonable amount of time to order another kit because I have a few I need to finish and I don't want them to get, how do I say that? I don't want them to get old sitting around. I don't know if the adhesive will have a problem over time just sitting. So I don't want to get too many up ahead of time. Maybe after I've finished a couple more, I'll go ahead and place another order. But until then, I'm just going to be working on these ones because this will take me a while. I mean, as you can even tell, I'm not going any too quickly here. Now, if I was at a little different angle, I probably would. But I'm not. I mean, I don't have a good angle going downward for you guys to see what I'm doing. So I think I am putting in her hair at this point because it's browns. There's a ton of black in this picture. It was, sheesh, I don't even know how many bags because they were all separated out into their own Ziploc bags. There's a ton of black in this picture. And so I'm working on a part that's gonna be quite inundated with black. I'm going to try to nudge a couple of these around. But I think the black will add some drama. Why does my voice keep cracking? That's annoying. I think the black will add some drama to the picture. So I'm all good with some drama. I like drama. Color-wise, I like drama. I don't like a lot of, you know, relationship drama, things like that. We've been kind of feeling a little guilty because we've been watching a lot of like 90 Day Fiancé, which until like a couple months ago, we never even thought about watching some of that show. And I finally have to leave the room after a while because I'm like, my word, these people are so over the top dramatic. I don't need that in my life, you know? I've got enough stuff going on. And gotta relocate that drill. Gonna try that again. So anyway, the drama of that show and the fact that these people are literally putting themselves up to that. They're literally bringing that on themselves. I keep finding myself yelling at the screen, leave them, go home. Take a hint. But they never listen to me. Their paycheck must be really good to take all that and keep on going week after week. They must be paid a mint for that show. Because that is not something I would deal with. Not to mention, every single one of them is living in sin. Let's be real. Every one of them. They don't just go and then they're going to get married and save anything. It's all, okay, I'm going to move over there and I'm going to live with you for a while. I don't like that. I mean, don't call me a prude, but I do believe in decency and morality, and I think there is an order to things. So that gets to me. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I'm not going to be able to show you much, but I can't help it. This is just a very, very dark area. So back to movies. Some of my favorite movies. I really like The Sound of Music. That's a favorite of mine. I really like the Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea movies. I like a lot of the older Disney movies. And I'm not talking like what's her name? Xenon, Girl of the Future. So I'm not talking about those type ones, which I'm kind of embarrassed I even know the name of it. I'm talking like the Swiss Family Robinson movie with John Mills, and yeah, I like that one a lot. In fact, back in the days of when DVDs came out, Swiss Family Robinson was the first DVD I bought. And it wasn't even strictly for myself. I bought it for the family for Christmas. And that was so neat. I like the movies, like there's one that got in my head and I'm not remembering which one it is. It is another Annette Funicello movie. Okay, I got it. Merlin Jones, the scrambled egghead. Merlin Jones, the campus kook. Call me crazy, I'm the girl in love with Merlin Jones. That one was, I watched that one several times when I was younger. That was funny. The computer wore tennis shoes. Kurt Russell, I believe his name was. Yeah, I like a lot of the older Disney movies. They were fun, entertaining, and nothing to be embarrassed over. Really, I mean, there's a lot of programs nowadays. If I were to be watching them and anyone were to walk in the room with me watching them, I'd feel like I needed to explain myself. And I like the movies where you didn't really have to feel that an excuse was needed. You just watched it and it was just good old fun. I miss the days of that. Another movie I watched when I was young, I watched a lot, was CoverGirl with Gene Kelly, Rita Hayworth. One of my favorite movies still today. I really like that one. I know it would probably be considered, I don't know, there's got to be some politically correct complaint about that movie now. But it's all about the physical appearance. I don't care, okay? It was a good movie. I laughed, I cried, it moved me, Bob, you know, kind of a situation. My definition of a good movie is a movie that can make me laugh and cry. And so that is a really good movie. Another movie that I love that I've never, even to this day, I've watched it probably a couple dozen times. I've never been able to watch the new Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movie without crying by the time the battle is over and Lucy's going about healing all of the people, and then we're going to the castle and they're going to be crowned. I have never been able to watch that movie yet without crying at that scene and around that segment and section of it. They just did so well with the music and the emotions captured. Another movie I love for that reason is Emma, the version with Gwyneth Paltrow. That movie can make me laugh at times and make me cry at times. And I love the Jane Austen movies usually in general. There's a couple versions I'm not as fond of, but the movies in general I like. And I know that some people do not agree with me, but I really like the Keira Knightley version of Pride and Prejudice. I just do. Maybe it could be connected to the music used, because I'm very, very sensitive to the different music in movies, but there is something about that version that it captures me every time I watch it, and it could be the fact that it also doesn't take me 6 hours to watch, because I don't generally have patience for a movie that long. One of the problems I had with, like, the Lord of the Rings series was how intensely long you had to give that series to get through it. And then, of course, if you go with the extended versions of the movies, we're talking, like, what, 17 hours? Something like that. And then the bonus content on top of that. So, yeah, I like shortened versions of things. I do like long audiobooks, though. I like unabridged audiobooks. Because if I'm just sitting there not having to read it myself, I like the blathering on of the descriptions and just getting the feel for it. I don't mind audiobooks that are abridged as well, but I like the unabridged ones the best. I think it depicts what the author's saying better than the fixed ones. Are interested in some abridged audiobook stories, the ones I have enjoyed over the years, and I've had them for several years, is the O'Malley series by D. Henderson. They're like a suspense romance, and I find them to be really, really interesting. They kept my attention. They're probably between 5 and 6 hours long each. Back in the day when I discovered them, I had read the first book in the O'Malley series. Or is it the second? It was The Negotiator. And I really, really liked that story. And so I shared it with my brother. He didn't have the same level of appreciation for it because it was a, you know, basically a chick lit. But I had gotten on eBay and I had found, I was looking for the rest of the series for a good price, and I found that they did the audiobooks. And I also looked a little closer and found out that the actual person selling those audiobooks was the author herself. So Dee Henderson was on eBay selling copies of her books. And so I kind of struck up a bit of a conversation with her back in the day. I wouldn't say we became friends, but we were friendly because I was really interested in the whole writing books. I still am, and that's still something I'm working on. But it was really, really interesting just chatting with the author, and she was friendly. I enjoyed that. I thought that was really unique and inspiring because, you know, at some point in the conversation I was telling her that I too wanted to write stories, and so she was just encouraging me in that. And even though there isn't a whole lot come about from that yet, I still plan on that in my future, writing books and stories. But yeah, that's probably been, oh goodness, a decade since I got those audiobooks. And I will still go back in and listen to them from time to time because they're well done and the stories keep your interest. And I like stories that are well blended. You don't just have the suspense, you don't just have the romance element. It does not hurt the fact that there is a religious aspect to those stories because I'm a conservative and I'm a Christian, and so I don't mind that. I actually appreciate that and kind of prefer that. I have tried reading some different stories over the years that were not aimed for that audience, and I had to put the book aside, give it away, or throw it away in some instances when it was so bad. And so I'm looking for artists that I can read a good story and not feel guilty about. So it's the whole story, the whole series is really good. And if you've not heard of it, it is about 7 adults who grew up in an orphanage and in foster care, who basically decided to adopt each other as siblings. And so it's each of the stories is talking about the lives of one of those siblings. And they're all intertwined, and you get to like one of the characters, and it's not like they just disappear after their book is over. They keep revisiting, and it's all intertwined, and I really like that part. But I never got bored with those stories. There was always something going on. I will admit, the last story in the series started, you could kind of tell the series was coming to an end, that it wasn't quite as exciting as some of the previous ones had been. But still, I never gave up. I always finished every story, and I always get sad when it's over, because I feel like I'm visiting with friends. She's also written some other series, like the True Honor series, which I don't think they're as good, but I still listen to them, and I still went ahead and got those audiobooks back in the day. She's written more books that I don't have the audiobooks on yet, and I still would like to get those at some point. But yeah, if you've not checked those out, I recommend them. I'm not sure where you can find them at this point, but you could check on eBay, you could check on Amazon. And then of course, one of my very favorite series are the Focus on the Family radio theater, because there is a full cast of voices in each story, and they're so well done. That is like the epitome of my favorite Narnia audiobooks, would be the ones on radio theater, because the voices are so good. And hey, you got David Suchet as Aslan. I mean, really. And I just watched him, actually. I got BritBox for a couple weeks to try it. I just watched David Suchet's special on the Orient Express, and I didn't honestly care about the story of the Orient Express. What I watched it for was his narration, because his voice is so neat. Very, very cool voice. It just stands out. So yeah, I'm trying BritBox for a couple weeks, and I'm watching As Time Goes By, and they have Keeping Up Appearances. I will say, I tried The Young Hyacinth. I didn't care for it. I thought it was kind of interesting, but I thought the only one who did anything similar to the real show was the girl who played Hyacinth. The other ones, it just didn't fit for me. So when I found out there was only one episode, it made sense. It didn't feel worthy of continuing on. It was just kind of interesting. Kind of a break from the norm. So I'm still searching for more shows to watch, more British shows to watch. I know there are a whole lot of Doctor Who specials on there that I have not seen yet, so I'm going to be looking into those. But I better get hurried, because I don't have much longer for my trial. So, just give me some ideas. What's some good programs, British programs, that could be found on BritBox? Because I'm looking for some in the next couple weeks that I can just play while I'm stitching or drilling or coloring. Always looking for some good suggestions, so please fill me in if you have any good ideas. I even like watching the Great British Baking programs, so I'm all for just nice, pleasant programming. Okay guys, I'm going to call this a day. I did about a 6x65 drill section. So I got about 15 rows completed now. This is going to take a lot more work, but slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady gets the project done. I enjoyed spending some time with you today. Hope you enjoyed spending some time with me today while I'm doing some drilling and just chatting about nothing in particular. Hope you'll come visit me again, because I will be doing this again. Not sure when, but sometime soon. Until then guys, have a great, fantastic day, and ciao for now. And enjoy your diamond painting, please, 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 because it's so fun. Bye guys.